To this now, right-wing politicians across Europe have been celebrating the election of Karol Nawroski as Poland's new president. Nawrocki, who came first by a narrow margin, is a euro-sceptic and expected to continue his predecessor's practice of blocking the government's liberal reforms. The EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that the EU would continue to cooperate with Poland. SABC News correspondent William Denselow joins us now live to discuss this further. William, a very good afternoon to you. So as you give us reaction then to Karol Nawroski's as a new president, just give us a sense of what kind of political shift does his election bring to Poland's political landscape?
Well, when it comes to a political shift, that is expected to be rather muted, considering the fact that, as you rightly mentioned, the outgoing president, Andrzej Duda, who's serving the last of his 2 terms in office, is much aligned with the incoming president, Karol Nawroski. And they are both endorsed by the hard right Law and Justice Party. Nawrocki has pledged to really continue that policy of stymieing Prime Minister Donald Tusk's efforts of reform, especially when it comes to the country's judiciary. Like Andrzej Duda, Nawrocki very much campaigned on a message of Poland first, strong Christian values, nationalist in sentiment as well. He picked up endorsements not just from Law and Justice here in Poland, but also from the Trump administration. Where we could see a divergence in Polish politics is the fact that for Donald Tusk and his centrist civic platform, he was very much hoping that the Liberal mayor of Warsaw, Rafał Trzaskowski, would be victorious. Trzaskowski is also under the same umbrella centrist coalition. With him as president, that could have unlocked far more ability for Prime Minister Tusk to be able to carry out those reforms. With the presidential election results, it seems that that is certainly going to be a hammer blow for Donald Tusk. His ability to get what he wants to see achieved until the 2027 parliamentary elections will be so much harder. Now, all eyes will be on how Tusk proceeds going forward. He is expected to address the nation a little bit later this evening. There is speculation as to whether he'll call a vote of no confidence for this governing coalition as he seeks a mandate potentially on how to go forward. That, of course, at the moment is still speculation. All eyes are on how the Prime Minister will respond to this presidential election result.
Now, as we look at, other moving parts and also reaction, I mean, Nawrocki is known to be someone who resonates with US President Donald Trump. What does this mean then for just the current global shift in Europe as it relates to the war also in Ukraine?
Absolutely. So unlike a US president, the Polish president has somewhat less of an agenda setting portfolio, but there are some significant roles that the Polish president does possess. One, as discussed, is that power of the veto to block efforts from the Prime Minister to carry out his legislative agenda, but he is still the commander-in-chief. That means that he has a major say when it comes to foreign policy. On the issue of Ukraine, well, like with his contender, both ran on a strong platform of defending Kyiv, considering the fact that the war in Ukraine is right on Poland's doorstep. However, one key divergence between the 2 candidates, Karol Nawroski said that he does not see Ukraine's future in NATO. That is a divergence from what we heard from Rafał Trzaskowski on the campaign trail. The president also has the power to pick ambassadors around the world, to really to be the spokespeople, the voices for Warsaw across the globe. So the fact that it is someone that aligns more with Donald Trump rather than with Brussels, that will be a key divergence and something will be very interesting to see how that plays out during his mandate for the next 5 years.
William, thank you so much for that update. Of course, William Denselow joining us there from Warsaw around, of course, the celebration of the election of Karol Nawroski as Poland's new president.